Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Here Be Dragons. It's me. I'm Steven, and yes, it is my birthday. I am, in fact, 49 years old today. Perfectly square, 7 times 7. And yeah, I'm going to take care of a little bit of admin first. Been streaming on Sundays for a long, long time. But when I started streaming, my schedule was very different, and things have changed over the years. And Sunday is just not a good day for me to stream anymore. So it seems like Tuesday is probably going to be my new day. So, and just by happenstance, yeah, this first Tuesday that I'm streaming also happens to be my birthday. It's going to be a quick one today, mostly because I just want to talk about one thing, and that is this trailer for the new Fallout TV show. I don't know how many of you are Fallout fans out there, but I am a huge Fallout fan. I've been playing the games for over 10 years. I've started with Fallout 3, was the first Fallout game I ever played. I think New Vegas is still maybe my favorite video game of all time. I really enjoyed my time with Fallout 4, and even after the fact, I've gone back and sort of like played a little bit of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. But yeah, so I have a pretty deep and ongoing relationship with this franchise. And I know there's a few of you out there that love Fallout. Like I see Sean here. I know you love Fallout, Sean. We've had this conversation. Arston says he didn't know that there was a Fallout TV show. Yeah, I didn't know until, I heard something some time ago, but then there was basically no real talk about it for a good long while. And then yeah, all of a sudden, a couple days ago, there was a few like stills released, and then a couple of days after that came this trailer. And I just want to talk about what I see in the trailer. Oh, there's John. Hey, buddy.
Hey, so good news. I told you in the Slack that I was only at a half an hour, but I have an hour.
Cool, cool. That's about what I'm aiming for right now, anyway. Because in about an hour, I'm supposed to play Baldur's Gate 3 with some friends. But yeah,
how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. I'm just getting set up here. So, John, I was explaining that I'm a huge Fallout fan. You have how much experience with Fallout?
Zero. Yeah, I aside from watching the trailer a couple of times today.
Right.
I have absolutely no idea, except that Michael Emerson is in this. Ooh, yeah. Walton Goggins is in this.
Right.
Ooh, Kyle MacLachlan. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Ella Purnell is in it. She's the voice of Jinx in Arcane, and I'm hyped about that too.
Oh God, I knew that I knew her from somewhere because I'd seen her name, but I just wasn't sure what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that just makes me even happier.
Yeah, Kate says she's known nothing about the property, but it's a heck of a teaser. It is. So, John, let's start. I'm going to ask you, like, if you watched this teaser, what are like the big questions you had?
Why is Red Skull in this?
Okay. You know what? let me,
no, I'm being tongue in cheek, but yeah, I like. First of all, I really don't have a huge sense of what's going on here, except it's post-apocalyptic, seemingly.
I mean, as if nuclear fallout. Yes. Yeah. So, you know what? I'm going to crash course you. Okay.
Okay.
the first game that I played was Fallout 3. Fallout 3 takes place in the year 2277. I'm 99% sure. 2277, 2278, somewhere right in there. Okay, so
Okay.
250 years ish in the future. But that game is set 200 years after nuclear war. So the bombs dropped in like October of 2077. So good news, we've still got 54 years before we have to worry about nuclear war, right?
Okay, that's good.
But it is not 2077 in our timeline. It's 2077 in a timeline that diverged somewhere around World War II. Okay, so their 2077 is actually what people in the 1950s and 60s thought 2077 would be.
Okay.
That's why you're getting this retro futurist vibe.
Okay. Well, in my book, retro is always great for science fiction. So.
But yeah, like in this shot right here.
Oh, I hadn't even noticed that. Yeah. Oh God. See, I love stuff like that.
The monochrome green screen, the light up buttons, the dials, and like that's very, very Fallout.
Yeah, that's why it's one of the reasons that I love the original Alien so much is the retro technology on.
I'm looking for another specific
on the ship
shot
because I just feel like, and granted, this is like a modern perspective because in the case of Alien, they intended that stuff to look futuristic, but for me, it just puts me on. In the case of that movie, it puts me on edge more because I feel like modern technologies, I feel too safe with it. The fact that like they were on this, ship that had, older looking computers and equipment and stuff, it just adds to sort of the tactile realness of it. And so I love it when anything else, goes with that kind of aesthetic.
Right.
And, yeah, so I'm on board for that. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, guys.
So Dan, what do you know about Fallout?
Quite a bit, I suppose. I'm a fan of the franchise of the video games. I played the the original games, not when they came out, but sometime in the early 2000s, I think. And so I've been a fan of the franchise for quite a long time. So it's cool to see some iconic monsters like our is that a rad roach? I think
our rad roach here.
Yeah.
And later on, we'll see. Where is it? Let me find it. Yaoguai.
I do want to stop for just a second and make sure I say on the stream, happy birthday, Stev.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Appreciate you. Dan, you snuck it in just under the wire. It's almost midnight where you are. You're almost too late. Although you did send me a message.
I said earlier, yeah.
Yeah, you did. Nice save, buddy.
I'm a fan of the franchise and just mostly the older games. I'll be honest, like I'm not completely on board with Bethesda's take on the franchise necessarily. Okay. I have some issues here and there. But I love New Vegas. New Vegas is a really good game. Added a lot to the sort of mythology, but kept in keeping with the old games in terms of the lore and so on. So
you're not wrong. Like the flavor of the game has migrated over the years. And Dan, I was saying at the beginning, like I came to the franchise through Fallout 3. I love Fallout 3. I love Fallout 4. I love New Vegas. I recognize that like if what you loved was Fallout 1 and 2, the departure is pretty significant. Like the format of the game has changed.
Yeah, just the genre of the game has changed in general. But yeah, also some of the ways that they represented, like the Brotherhood of Steel, seemed very different in Fallout 3. Well, and they kind of had like an in-universe sort of explanation for that, but it just didn't feel right to me as an older fan. But but yeah, I just you know me, I like to nitpick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like to hate on things that I don't enjoy, but yeah, it's just Fallout 3 didn't really sort of like it wasn't really what I wanted.
I got you. You know, hey, like most things, it's
Hmm.
subjective. You know, like
Yeah.
So
I
I have a
love Fallout.
so I have a question.
Yeah.
So as you guys are talking about that, you know, the sort of tone and style, you know, has sort of shifted over the years. When you watch this, what is it like lean more towards, or is it sort of an even spread of?
I feel like it's
Yeah.
getting a little bit from everything.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. It feels a little bit like all of them actually in various ways. Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you know what? You asked about this guy. Why is Red Skull in this?
He's a
this is
creature called a
Walton-
ghoul.
Yeah, this is Walton Goggins' character. He's known as the Ghoul. Within Fallout, you have various kinds of irradiated and mutated beings, creatures of all kinds. We said the rad roach, which is a cockroach the size of a small dog, you know. The Yaogwai is the mutated bear we see. Don't ask me what that axolotl thing is. I have no clue, which I think is also very cool that I can recognize a lot of things. And then there's a few things where I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I was watching something about that thing earlier. Actually, it's apparently it's people were speculating that it's some sort of lizard that's native to South America.
Yeah, an axolotl. It's like a
right
salamander of some kind. They're literally like banned from being imported to California, which is where this is set. So it's kind of funny.
Now I thought I saw Walton Goggins looking more normal.
Yeah, because
later in the trailer.
Because that was as the bombs were coming down. So
Okay.
he is a ghoul. A ghoul is a person who received a high dose of radiation, and it changed their genetics or whatever in such a way that they basically can't die. Almost like they're extremely resistant to radiation. Obviously, it does hell on your skin. Like as ghouls go, that is one handsome dude. Let me just say,
yeah.
Some of them don't have skin anymore.
I mean, you can't make Walton Goggins look bad.
And like,
I mean, he's one stylish dude.
well, and like, yeah, you don't want to make one of your lead actors so horrifying to look at that you can't connect with them.
But they're proving that you actually can cut that actor's nose off.
Yeah. But like, imagine if he had no skin on his face.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, here he looks like kind of like Deadpool with no nose.
Yeah.
But, you know, if he was literally without skin, we would have a lot harder time wanting to look at him at all. But yeah, so ghouls are effectively immortal. As I said, we know actually the exact year this is set, which is 2296, which is, I think, 219 years after the bombs fell. So he's been around for 219 years, probably in this state.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, the living long part, maybe not the being without a nose part.
The thing about ghouls is they always talk like this, too. They always have that gravelly voice.
No, seriously, like, as soon as... And I saw some other actors that I'm very excited about, but as soon as I saw that he was in this, I was like, oh my God, I'm watching this no matter what.
Yeah. Well, and John, we were talking about the show briefly, yesterday morning? Yesterday morning.
Yeah, I don't think I had watched the trailer at that point.
Yeah.
But I know you were talking about how excited you were about it. And you were also talking about sort of the tone of it and watching this. First of all, I love, from the studio that brought you The Boys and free 2-day shipping.
Yeah, this one, like, that kind of actually nails the vibe of Fallout because, like, it's the boys meets a joke, you know? Fallout is funny and weird. I mean, not everything, it's not a comedy per se, but it's very funny in general.
It's very satirical a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It likes to poke fun at capitalism a lot as well, especially American capitalism and commercialism. So this is spot on, actually.
Oh, and I love. I don't know what they're called, obviously, but I love the big hulky robots. You know,
those are not robots; those are people in power armor. Those are brothers.
Okay.
We'll get to that. One of the things I wanted to point out that I thought really captured the humor was this right here. A machine gun blazing away with a sign that says, "Please remain calm." Yeah. Okay. Sixto Sound says, "Oh, I thought this was a show, or this is a show. I thought it was going to be a new game." It is not a new game, but one of the things I've heard is that they're approaching it as though it was Fallout 5. Like, they're not adapting one of their existing previous stories, you know? They're taking the existing lore from the games and making a new story set after any of the games have taken place. Now, it is so, like Dan will tell you, Fallout 1, Fallout 2 are set in and around the Los Angeles area.
Yeah. Fallout 1 is set sort of just outside Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And Fallout 2 is set in Reno.
Okay, but you can go that far south, I think, or close to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since I've played.
But they're both sort of like, shall we say, California based.
Yeah.
Fallout 3 is in Washington, D.C. New Vegas is outside Las Vegas. And then Fallout 4 was Boston.
Yeah.
And then this one is going back to where 1 and 2 were set. But those games being first in the franchise are far in the past from whatever this TV show is going to be, which I think is for the good. It lets them change things to suit whatever their unique vision is. But they still have a very solid base of lore to build up from, you know?
Yeah, I mean, in the sort of modern era of Fallout, the closest we've gotten to California is Vegas, essentially.
Yeah.
So we saw some aspects of like the original games in New Vegas, including the New California Republic, the NCR, which is sort of was something we haven't really seen in this trailer. Although I think there are some shots that might be suggestive of the NCR presence. But yeah, that's sort of like a post-apocalypse sort of society that's starting to rebuild itself again.
Yeah, I have a suspicion that these explosions here might be coming from the NCR, the New California Republic. I mean, there are other possibilities. This could be a super mutant attack or raiders or whatever, but
yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah,
but, I'd be surprised if we didn't see them somewhere in the story, though.
Yeah, I would be too. Like the only thing I did not get from this trailer that I actually really did want was Ron Perlman saying "war."
Yeah, I was disappointed not to get that.
But maybe we'll get it in the full trailer. This was just a teaser.
I was just looking up the cast list. I thought that was Chris Parnell with the coffee and the one eye, which I'm a big fan of his from his various voiceover roles.
Yeah, well-known voice actor.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, even this tells you, like, it's weird. By the way, we've never seen a Cyclops in Fallout. But like the people online who are freaking out about there's no Cyclopses in Fallout. I'm like, bruh, you need to play these games again and realize this guy is normal AF compared to some of the stuff you run across. There's a dude that turns into a tree. Come on.
Yeah, my little bit of speculation about this guy is that this might be so to explain a little bit about what's going on in some of these shots, the vaults of which we're inside one here, presumably, were sort of like large bomb shelters that were built before the Great War started by a corporation, but sort of commissioned by the US government, and they ostensibly are for the safety of citizens, but in actual fact, many of them were used for experimentation on the subjects inside them. And so what I wonder might be going on with this is some kind of experiment that's happening in Vault 33, which is where we start.
It almost
presumably
has
our
to.
story here. Yeah. So either there's some hallucinogenics going on, maybe, where people are seeing things that aren't there, because we see people going crazy.
Like that guy right there.
Yeah.
Because that's inside a vault. I know there's wheat growing and stuff, but this is inside vault.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's inside Vault 33, I think, because you can see the 33 on the walls in this shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see it on the jumpsuits as well.
Yeah.
And so, so some of the vaults are sort of, were not used for experimentation. They were used for control groups. Whereas others were all kinds of like weird and horrible experimentation was in place in some of these as a big conspiracy. So who knows what could be going on in this one in particular.
I have read some speculation, but I don't want to talk about stuff that you're going to. I want to talk about the teaser, not what I read in a Vanity Fair article. But yeah, there is some idea about what's happening.
Yeah, I haven't read the Vanity Fair article yet. I was meaning to get to that this afternoon.
But yeah, so yeah, that's it. The vaults were built to keep people alive, but most of them turned out to be horrifying social experiments. Vault Tech is truly horrible company, but look, Fallout sucks, but that's kind of the charm, Like, no matter what you do out there, there's somebody worse. And it's weird. You're just as likely to run across a group of cannibals as you are a dude that thinks he's a superhero and is cosplaying, or a town of children out there. Society is broken down. You've just got these little pockets of people surviving, and it gets pretty wild. Fallout 3 has the Republic of Dave. It's just, and it's just Dave. Dave is the only one that lives in the Republic of Dave. But I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is like, where was that shot? I'm going to find it. Okay. Vertibirds.
Mm-hmm.
A staple of Fallout. They've been used by many different factions, although most people will associate them first with the Brotherhood of Steel. Who are the Brotherhood of Steel? Well, the Brotherhood of Steel there's one. He's one of our main characters as well. I think he's a Brotherhood scribe. Now, this guy is a Brotherhood of Steel knight. Who are the Brotherhood of Steel? Well, they're sort of like, they scour the wasteland hunting for technology, not for the benefit of mankind, but just so you can't have it. Because technology, high technology in the wrong hands in the past, destroyed the world. So they just go around making sure that nobody but them has it. They kind of suck, honestly. Often used as antagonists in the game. Fallout 3, not so much, but that's like, there's a lore reason for that. They're just going their own way. They've rejected the idea, the core ideals that the Brotherhood was founded on, which is, we don't want another apocalypse, so we'll just kill anybody that has good high-tech stuff and keep it away from everyone. Totally legitimate, fully rational response to the situation. But for those of us that are longtime fans, we look at this and that's T60 power armor. There's also, T45 and T51, and then there's T60, and they're all slightly different. They've just nailed the details. When you can look at a thing and be like, I know what that is. Like the machine gun turret we were looking at earlier. extremely recognizable straight out of the game, even down to like this shot right here. This could be in Fallout 4, in Vault 111, very easily. This looks more like the service hallways, not the living quarters, but it's got this rounded like feel to it. The pipes in the ceiling, the yellow brackets, everything, the color scheme, everything is right. I love it. I can't wait for this show, y'all. But yeah, like I do want to address a couple of things too. Like we did not see any NCR anything as far as I can tell in this trailer, and I have looked very, very closely. Dan, they have to have the NCR, right?
You would think so, yeah. By the point at which we meet them in New Vegas, they've spread that far that they're in Nevada, and so.
So what are the MCR?
Group of human survivors. It's the New California Republic. So
yeah, in the very first game, you're sort of like witness to the sort of like first kind of roots of the NCR, where it's just a small group of villagers really, and they sort of. Yeah, they become more. The second game is set quite a bit after the first game, and then you see how much they've grown in that time. And then, as I say, you meet them again in New Vegas, and they're almost like a new power that's arising in the west coast of America. So, and the plot of New Vegas centered around a brewing war, a sort of cold war between them and another faction called the Caesar's Legion, who were sort of sort of a little bit of a parody of like Las Vegas hotels and like the Roman legionnaires that you see in Vegas. So they were a group that was like a little bit more savage and sort of they had a charismatic leader called Caesar, and so that game sort of centered on that sort of conflict.
Okay. It's a dark shot, but yes, dog meat.
Yeah.
So every Fallout game, with the exception of every numbered Fallout game, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all have a dog companion that you can find and who will follow you around and be like your, it's an RPG, but he's like your assistant. You can sniff things out and you can fight. In every game, he's called dog meat. There's no way it's the same dog. It's not even the same breed of dog in every game. But they're all dog meat. And like when I saw German Shepherd, because in Fallout 3 and 4, dog meat is a German Shepherd. So just I got hyped, and so did a lot of other people. Yes, he is. He's a cute little baby. But I feel like dog meat is going to have a probably pretty big part in the show, and I expect him to not just be floofy woofy cuddly wuddly. Like when we see him in the trailer here, we see him running from gunfire, we see him tearing a rad roach to pieces so he can eat it. He's going to have full combatant status in this show, or he should, because in the games dog meat will definitely mess your enemies up too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we see him tearing apart a rad roach here, don't we? So
yeah. So I'm excited to see the Brotherhood of Steel. I feel like these Brotherhood of Steel are going to be more like the take tech away from people, not the help the wasteland variety, which I'm kind of for. I want that conflict in the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think one of our main characters is going to be the scribe that you mentioned. I think he's going to be one of them, so it'll be interesting to see whether he's like a little bit of a renegade or whether he, because generally, like a lot of RPGs, the games usually focus on you recruiting a number of companions who journey around with you, and so I want that kind of feeling where our main character from the vault ventures into the world and meets people, and they end up joining her mission for various reasons. So that could be an antagonist. I don't know anything. I haven't read anything, so I have no idea. But
I've read some things, but not everything. Are you talking about this guy here, the guy from Lost?
No, not him. I think the guy that you showed in the vertibird earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got lost.
I don't know about this guy either.
This guy
you got lost, Stephen?
I did. I got lost. You're talking about this gentleman right here, who he's maybe a Brotherhood initiate, a Brotherhood scribe, something along those lines. When he grows up, he'll get his power armor.
Yeah, it's hard to say what they're going to do with the Brotherhood, but I very much hope that they're going to be the sort of like zealous, technology hoarding antagonists that I enjoy.
I'm trying to find this exact. Okay, so in the I changed the. There we go. So do you see the car? The car says a lot to me. It looks like a car. So this is set in 2077. That does not look like a car design from 2077. It looks like a car design from 1956, which is what Fallout, to me, should have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole universe is set in an alternate timeline where actually history deviated going back into the 20th century. So
yeah, like their nuclear power, their skill with making things with nuclear power is way beyond ours. But they never got past like the transistor stage of computing, which is why every computer screen is green monochrome, like a TRS-80.
Mm-hmm. You get like sort of optical media, like tapes instead of
instead of like laser inscribed anything.
Flash memory and stuff like never was invented. So,
but this car runs on nuclear power.
Yeah,
like it's probably got a uranium cell in it that lasts for years.
And the cars are very Mad Max, of course. So it's fun. And Fallout 2 had a car that you could rebuild and drive around in. And I think Fallout 4 has a car as well, doesn't
it? Maybe. But like, if you want to like start trying to figure stuff out where this is, this looks like Santa Monica to me, which is near Los Angeles. Santa Monica Pier has the big what is that, Ferris wheel on it. So yeah, I'm hoping that we'll see NCR. I feel like if it's left out, it's left out for a reason, because either they might be the antagonist in this series in some sort of way, or they might be holding it in order to give us something else in a later trailer, or maybe they don't play a huge part in the evolving story. Like there have been stills shared where you can like see an NCR flag in the background. So the show, as far as the show is concerned, they do exist, but I'm just a little surprised that we didn't see any of it.
Yeah, every time you say MCR, I'm just thinking MCRN.
No, it's not MCR. It's N.
NCR. Okay.
New California Republic.
All right, so it's not the Martians.
And it's not Martian California Republic.
So Santa Monica is a little north of LA, is that right?
Santa Monica? No, it's like it's in LA County, but it's like west.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, Los Angeles, like you always think of like East Coast, West Coast, but if you're in downtown LA, to get into the ocean, you need to go south, actually. because
Okay.
it kind of like curves there, you know.
Yeah, my knowledge of like Californian geography is based on video games as well. So
Yeah. It's a good thing we're friends, Sanrixian. It's a good thing we're friends. I'm really glad you were here to share that with me.
But one of the things I appreciate about some of the sort of art choices they've made, from what we can see in this video, is how like sparse everything looks. Like the games are kind of like centered around like wasteland exploration, so you can like walk for miles and not see a whole lot, except for you might see like things buried in sand and like monuments that have just sort of toppled and like sort of like ruined houses here and there, but it just really does feel like the end of the world has happened in these shots. I like, especially in the sort of opening seconds of the trailer, you used to see all this just vast expanse of just ruined, just ruins that are being vacated and just that sort of like wandering the wastelands visual is like really spot on.
Yeah, and so like one of the features of the game is just, you know, it kind of holds your hand through the tutorial process. And then in almost every game, you start off as a vault dweller. So you start off in here, and then throughout the course of the sort of like tutorial portion of the game, you're making your character, you're learning how to use the controls and everything, and then you leave. And vault dwellers, generally speaking, have no clue what's going on in the outside world, which is why she has no concept of what life is like on the other side of that huge door. You know, when in the trailer, you hear her say, I know I've lived a relatively comfortable life. And I'm like, girl, you don't know the half of it. Like, you have lived the best life that's possible in the world right now.
It's Plato's cave, except there are monsters outside the cave.
For real, yes. And like,
that's why if I did play the game, it would be uneventful because I'd probably just stay in the vault.
Right, but like you can get a sense that like she's scared of the tumbleweed. Also, Todd Howard's name in a movie like trailer is really wild to me. I really liked this shot with the ocean in the background, and like you can get a sense for how devastating things have been. Like, why is this ship that far from the ocean? Was it blown up there? Has the water receded because of like global cooling from nuclear winter? I don't know, but something bad happened, and there's no mistaking it from this shot, you know.
Ask Benjamin Linus. He knows how the Black Rock got that far into shore. Sorry, had to make my Lost reference.
Also love this shot. I feel it perfectly encapsulates the vibe. Like, look at that cute little boy, who's a good boy. But then he's got a severed hand in his mouth, you know? Of course. It's gore, it's funny, it's a little bit gross out sometimes. But the one thing that Fallout always had going for it that some other post-apocalypses don't is that there is a sliver of hope for a better future in Fallout. Despite the fact that there's mutant animals everywhere and raiders and horrible radiation and mutants and all that crap, but like there's still a sliver of hope. Dan, wrong. Where? I'm looking for a specific shot.
I wanted to answer Matthew. This is a series. You said movie.
Yes, this is coming in April. Dan, is that what I think it is?
The suitcase?
Yeah,
that's I forgot what they're called.
A Gek. I think it's a Gek.
Yeah. Right.
I think the whole show will be about trying to get that briefcase.
Could be, yeah. That could be a reason for a vault dweller to leave. It's sort of like a thing that you use to I don't know, like power everything and recreate the environment within the vault, right? It's like it's a MacGuffin that you have to chase after in the video games.
It's called a GEC, a Garden of Eden creation kit.
That's the one, yeah.
So in a irradiated post-apocalyptic wasteland, having the ability to create the Garden of Eden in a suitcase, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I also like and that's one of the things that we've seen before. This guy right here, Dan, this creature does not exist in Fallout, in any existing Fallout IP.
No, you could well imagine it, but no.
Yeah, like it doesn't look out of place, but it is not recognizable as something. Is this a result of FEV? And if so, are they going to have FEV in the show?
I can't say. I mean, it could be. It's a result of radiation, probably. But
the reason I think maybe not is because look at the FEV, forced evolutionary virus, right? You get infected and it forces evolution. Those are human fingers inside this thing.
Oh God, they are. Yeah, no, I hadn't even noticed that.
Yeah, I had just realized that about 5 seconds before you said it, Stev.
Okay, so I'm gonna blah, blah, blah. I also like this lady with the fork in her eye.
Yeah,
makes me think of Mo Dislak. Y'all remember that Mo? Bam, the old fork in the eye.
Mm.
But yeah, so the FEV is responsible for a lot of the horrific creatures that you run into. Things like super mutants,
yeah,
rad roaches, and Yao Guai like.
Yeah,
I
didn't even notice the fingers.
I didn't notice it the first time, but I did go through and like literally frame by frame this thing after it came out.
Yeah, I've watched it a few times today, but
but yeah, so like to me overall, what this thing does is it tells me they understand how the show ought to look. They understand, at least in broad terms, what I think the sense of humor should be, and they've captured the violent nature of things. Like vaults suck. Most, like, if you're a vault dweller, chances are you were part of a social experiment that ended very badly. And that might be what we're seeing here is like, because this is in Vault 33. This is that same scene, you know, that takes place. Yeah, there's the corn and the blue lights, what have you. But yeah, I think I've said most of what I want to say about this. I'm just hyped for the show. And
so if this is being approached as if it's the next like installment of the game series, so am I correct in understanding that none of these are like legacy characters?
Correct. As far as I can tell.
Okay.
This shot right here.
Unless you count Dogmeat, I suppose.
Unless you count Dogmeat, which is probably not the same. And there are possibilities of individual characters popping up. That possibility exists, but
there are very long-lived characters in the Fallout franchise. So
as I said, Walton Goggins' character is from before the war, so he's been around for 220 years as a ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
But none of anything I've seen makes me go, oh, that's Easy Pete or that's Paladin Jenkins or whatever, you know.
Okay.
And like when I saw this, I'm like, that's the Pridwin. It's not. It's like the Caswinin, but the Pridwin was an airship in Fallout 4. But of course, you know, if the Brotherhood is using, you know, if it's not the Pridwin, of course they're going to be using an airship design that is proven and effective, you know. but the fact that you can see it and like I instantly can recognize its design, like it just makes me feel really good about the basics of this. Again, we don't know anything about where the story is actually going, but
yeah, the bones of the franchise are there though in every sense, so it's great.
So these would be like Brotherhood recruits or initiates or whatever, and the big ship here would be able to take probably pretty much everybody anywhere they need to go, which to me suggests that something big is going to be happening with the Brotherhood of Steel overall in the show.
Yeah, my best guess for a possible plot would be some kind of conflict between the Brotherhood and the NCR. Would be involved somehow, but yeah, we really don't know at the moment. But yeah, it'll be intriguing to see where they go with it, and how this region of the map has changed since the last time we saw it in the games as well.
Yeah. I'll also say, like, there are no good guys and no bad guys in the whole series. There really just aren't. When it comes down to like survival and you're just trying to keep yourself and your loved ones alive, like the high-minded ideals of morals and ethics don't apply nearly as much. Like, look, let's be real. The Brotherhood of Steel are kind of assholes, but there are times when they're absolutely right about what they're doing. The NCR is like, yeah, we're going to like build a better future for everyone. Meanwhile, they're continuing to invade people around them and like enforcing their will on other neo states that are trying to, they're being sort of because the NCR eventually has people and resources that kind of become oppressive.
Yeah, in New Vegas, they're pressing out into Nevada, into Vegas, and they're kind of trying to just take over. Basically, they're trying to take over the Hoover Dam. That's what the plot sort of revolves around, and so they don't really belong there, but they think they're acting in the common interest. So there's a self-righteousness to them. And yeah, like all of the organized factions are kind of not really good guys.
I would argue there are no good guys.
Yeah, I mean there are innocent people trying to live their lives, and you come across farming villages of people that are trying to just get on with life and survive with what meager means they have.
There he is. Look at that handsome man. And the thing is, like, you can see the clouds behind. Like, that is Los Angeles being destroyed behind him.
It is such a Walton Goggins thing to be wearing, though.
And the thing is, like, but look at him. Tell me that's not a 1950s cowboy outfit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a spaghetti Western type getup, because that has always been the Fallout aesthetic. Like when you're playing the games and you find pre-war clothes, it's always like a sweater vest and a tie and, slacks.
Yeah, not even fashion has it's changed since the 1950s.
It's the 1950s
in this world.
And like there are several different times where you can find like Vault-Tec educational videos or Vault-Tec promotional materials. And everybody knows Vault Boy, that guy with the thumbs up, in the blue jumpsuit. But it's always got like that 1950s animation style. And like the voiceover is like, what's the right thing to do in this circumstance? If you see a mushroom cloud, duck and cover. Just the delivery, it's so 1950s. Down to the song choice in the trailer. I don't want to live to see tomorrow, or I don't want to see tomorrow. That recording is Nat King Cole from 1962. That is exactly the type of song that you would turn on the radio in any Fallout game and hear that music playing. like every Fallout game has a soundtrack from the like 1940s, 1950s, 1960s.
Yeah, the ink spots were one of the more common ones that we reused over and over again in the games. So it's all of that stuff. One of my favorite factions in New Vegas was that like a gang you can come across in the outskirts of Vegas that are basically the King's gang, and they're all Elvis impersonations.
Yes, it's an entire gang of Elvis impersonators.
They don't know who Elvis is really, but they figured that he was an extremely important figure in the pre-war history.
Yeah, because
based on what they could find out about him, they've like styled their entire look and persona, and they all talk like this.
Yeah, they all are doing Elvis impersonations. They've all got the
Brill cream, and
yes,
it's so silly.
But that's Fallout. Fallout, you can find a gang that is all Elvis impersonators, and it's just like, yeah, why wouldn't you?
Before I run out of time here, I did want to talk about who's behind the show. The showrunners. So we've got Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan, who created Westworld. Which, notice this isn't a a Max show, or probably a reason for that, in that they canceled Westworld, which was a shame. But I did, when you talked about the show, I did not realize that these were the people behind it, and that just has me so excited.
Yeah, and I mean, Jonathan Nolan, if you've watched and enjoyed a Christopher Nolan movie,
yeah,
you've seen Jonathan Nolan's work too, because he's like a second unit director for his brother, isn't he?
And well, I think primarily he's written a lot of the scripts.
Yeah, I was going to say he's more of a story guy.
Yeah, with his brother, and yeah, so I don't need any more convincing. I think that this show looks like it's going to be pretty great, and I never played the game, but it looks like it's going to be pretty welcoming to people who don't know anything about the game. So
yeah, I mean, I'm hyped for the show, but like I'm with you, John. I watched this trailer and I'm like, everything, like I'm steeped enough in the lore that I was picking up on all this and that and the other thing. But so it really gave me what I wanted as a fan. But it's nice to hear that somebody who's totally uninitiated into the lore of this world can also look at it and be like, that looks like some wild, wacky fun.
Yeah, and speaking of Jonathan Nolan, he also did the TV show Person of Interest, which one of the stars of that show was Michael Emerson. And so it was nice, within the first 5 seconds to see him. I don't know like how big of a role he's supposed to play in this. I have no idea, but the more of him, the better, because I've always loved him from Lost onward.
Mm-hmm. So. If I was going to guess, I would say he's not going to have a huge role. Like he probably does early on, but I don't think he will later on.
Okay.
Fallout follows heroes, reluctant heroes sometimes, but heroes. And I'm just saying, he doesn't give off the hero vibe in this trailer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think he's a bit further down the cast list on Wikipedia, so I'm not expecting him to be one.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know the actor who's playing the Brotherhood scribe. I don't know his name. I am not familiar with his work or anything, so I didn't recognize him. But I'm pretty sure your three leads are Ella Purnell, Walton Goggins, and then the guy playing the Brotherhood of Steel scribe or initiate or whatever.
And whatever character Kyle MacLachlan is playing, he's pretty high up on the cast list too. So I would assume that he probably.
Kyle MacLachlan, there's like only one shot of him in the whole trailer. But I'm pretty sure he is playing Ella Purnell's father. Where is he? I can't find him.
Towards
Anyway,
the beginning, I think.
maybe. But like, yeah, she sees him. I'm pretty sure it's closer to the end. I'll just let it run for a second if I see it. But yeah, oh, there he is.
He's the overseer of the vault.
I think he's the overseer of Vault 33. Also, like, I'm just going to back up for a hot second. Right there, the Mr. Handy robot looks so good. And like, between games, there are minor variations in how these things are rendered. And this actually looks like a blend of Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas. With the way that this is sort of like in Fallout 4, it didn't have the glowing eyes. In New Vegas, it did. But the arms are more articulated in Fallout 4, you know? So John, when you were asking, like, where does it lean? It really does feel like they're kind of taking a little bit from everywhere and smashing it all together to make one sort of like cohesive vision from all the source material. I'm going to see if I can find this thing. Oh, here it is. This is one of my favorite things I've ever had, so I'm going to give myself a solo camera for a quick second. I want you all to see this. So, Dan, can you see it?
I see it, yeah.
Yeah.
Nuka-Cola.
Nuka-Cola cap. This is the currency of Fallout. Bottle caps. It is just a bottle cap from Nuka-Cola, which is, by the way, radioactive soda. It's not highly radioactive, but you know, radioactive soda.
If you drink enough of it, you probably not going to have kids. But
I do have to say it's very surreal / unnerving to watching this trailer and you know, have like a mixture of comedy mixed in with all this stuff. It's like nuclear fallout, and meanwhile, for the past week, I've been super immersed in the movie Oppenheimer. Yeah, I know. So we'll have to leave in a second here, but
I got to wrap it up too. It's my birthday, and my Baldur's Gate 3 game is about to go. So I've got to also end. But to everybody that was here, thanks, John. Thanks for joining me, Dan. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me come on. I wanted to, you know, both stream with you about something, but also it's your birthday, man, and I wanted to spend some time with you today.
It's been a minute since we've streamed together, John. You know, kind of like, I'm going in this way and you're going in that way, but like, hey, man, like, friends are friends forever.
Yeah.
I also haven't streamed in quite a long time as well myself. Yeah, so yeah, thank you for having me on, and yeah, happy birthday again as well. Hope you have
a genuine pleasure.
Great evening.
All right, well, I'm going to wrap it there, guys. Anyway, long story short, super hyped about this show. When it comes out, I might deviate from the like mostly D&D content that I do in order to talk about this show, because I'm excited. I ended up being way more excited than I originally anticipated. I was like, oh, Fallout show. Then I watched this trailer and I'm like, yes, more. So, all right, guys, you know what it is. Until next time, peace and be excellent to each other. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Happy birthday to me. If you want to come tomorrow night, we're doing like a Quiplash hangout on Zoom and stuff. So come hang out for that. That's my birthday party, is we're going to play some Quiplash and just hang out on Zoom. If you want to do that, get with me, or if you know Emily of the Eyrie, get with her. Anyway, thanks, y'all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.